Had a real estate broker call here last week, and they asked for some help. They were representing a buyer in a transaction, and the buyer was looking at this 85-acre agricultural parcel here in Central California. We buy and sell a lot of ag land in Central California, in my part of California, and so the real estate agent was calling because when they were out looking at the property, the buyer noticed that there was a well on the property that appeared to serve the parcel, the neighboring parcel. And so he had asked the agent about that, what's the deal with that, which was a great thing. It was a good thing for the buyer to do. And so when the real estate agent initially called here, she said, I need to know how much it would be, what it would cost to get a survey of this 85-acre parcel. And so I would have loved to have gotten paid to survey that 85-acre parcel, but one of the things we always try and do before we sell somebody a survey is make sure they really need a survey, because we don't want to waste our clients' money. So I asked the agent, the real estate agent, I said, I would love to survey this parcel for you, but let me ask you, why do you think you need a survey? What's going on? And so she told me the story about the well and was trying to figure out what to do. And so I told her, I said, look, it's probably still a good idea to get this parcel surveyed, and I'm happy to give you an estimate for that, but getting a survey isn't going to fix your potential problem with the well. So I asked her, I said, did you look in the title report? Was there an easement for the well? And she said, I actually did look at the title report, and there isn't an easement for the well. I said, okay, well, that's an issue then. I said, if there's a physical well there and you and the buyer are confident that it's on your side of the property line, and it's going over to the neighbor, the water line's going over to the neighbor, then yeah, you're right. I'm glad you called me. We've got a problem we got to fix. I said, we're not going to fix that with a survey necessarily. So I said, here's what we need to do. First of all, we need to determine, is there an easement for the well? Maybe the title company missed it. So we got to go back, talk to the title company, see what they say. We can double check some things. Look at the deed. Sometimes title companies will miss an easement if it's in the vesting deed. I said, if it turns out there really is no easement, then we've got to sit down with the neighbor and the seller and your buyer, and we got to figure out how we're going to, what we're going to do to fix it. I said, it's not a problem that is unsolvable. Like most problems in real estate, we can come up with a solution. So it may be we need to relocate the well. Or if the well needs to stay in place, it may be that we need to write and execute a new easement for the well. I said, but we don't even know. We don't know what's going on. It's possible maybe the neighbor isn't even using that well anymore, right? It can just be the water line can be removed, or the well can be capped, But I said, we got to get together with folks and talk about it. I said, we're happy to help with this, but we need to have a conversation. I said, so why don't you visit with your buyer, and you can let me know if he wants help. You can get us under contract, and we can help you guys get this sorted out. So I got a call from the broker. The broker that was representing the buyer. She called me a little bit later in the afternoon. She said, you know what? I decided this isn't my problem. It's the seller's broker's problem, and I don't want to deal with it. So why don't you call the seller's broker and see if he wants your help to fix it? And so I thought to myself, I said, well, that's kind of disappointing. And I wasn't even disappointed because I wasn't going to get to work. I was like, but here's somebody that's been hired to help her client purchase a piece of property, and she's got a situation here that it's not a great situation, but it's a relatively minor problem that's fairly easy to fix. The cost of the fix was relatively minor compared to the overall purchase price, and she didn't want to make that effort for her buyer. Which I don't understand. I feel like that's part of what she was getting paid for. But I said, okay, no problem. So I called the seller's broker, and I told the seller's broker, I said, hey, talk to the buyer's broker. She told me to call you. I understand there might be a problem with this well. We can help you figure out if there is a problem, and if there is, we can help you fix it. And it'd be relatively inexpensive. You don't have to survey the whole 85 acres to fix this issue, although we're happy to do that. If you would like us to, give me a call. Let's talk about it. So I never even got a call back from the seller's broker. Okay, so here's the question I had after this whole thing happened last week. And I asked this question a lot. Why didn't the brokers care? Okay, so now I got two real estate brokers. I got one representing the buyer and I got one representing the seller. Neither one of these brokers were interested in fixing this problem. And here's why. The buyer's broker didn't want to deal with the hassle. She's just going to tell her buyer, it's on the seller to fix this. You either got to buy the parcel as is or you got to go find another piece, right? Which I think is a shame because it may be that 85-acre parcel was exactly what this buyer wanted. And if we just had fixed this one issue, it would have been a great fit for them. I don't know because I didn't get to talk to the buyer, but that is a possibility. And the seller's agent, the seller's broker, I don't think cared because he said, we're in a relatively strong real estate market right now. It's definitely a seller's market. And he just said, look, if this particular buyer was smart enough to catch the problem with the well, but the next buyer probably won't be. They'll probably be dumber than that. And I'm going to sell this parcel without having to fix the problem for the price it's currently listed at. So the brokers didn't care. Now, here's what's probably going to happen. That parcel is going to sell. It'll probably sell with the well and no easement. In other words, this problem isn't going to get fixed. So that's going to leave both the eventual buyer of the parcel and the neighbor who's using that well in bad shape, right? And these are the kind of deals that eventually end up in some kind of legal dispute or lawsuit, right? And that's what I, as a land surveyor and a private land planner, try and help people avoid, right? So here we have a situation that was easily fixable. I think for a few $1,000s, this problem could have been fixed. And both brokers passed on that opportunity, right? I think that was a failure in their fiduciary duty to their clients. And I think it was unethical and poor business practice. So what are the lessons here? I think there's a few. One is, if you're going to be involved in a real estate transaction, either as a buyer or a seller, hire a good broker. You want to hire a real estate broker that you trust. Don't price shop your broker because this is what you get. Try and hire a broker that has a good reputation. Second of all, don't pay for a survey that you don't need. I mean, if this broker had called a different survey company, she could have talked her client into paying for a survey that would not have fixed this problem, right? So now you've spent, whatever, $10 or $15 or $20,000 to survey this 85 acres, and you still haven't fixed the problem with the well. So that's the second. The second thing is work with a reputable surveyor that isn't going to sell you something you don't need. You call RH, we're not going to sell you a survey if that survey isn't going to fix your problem. We don't treat our clients like that. And there's other good survey firms like that. You need to find one. And the third thing is, man, if you're the client, buyer or seller, ask questions. If there's something you don't understand about a potential transaction or a parcel, ask your broker. That's their job. I have a whole set of videos on questions your broker should be helping you answer, right? Thankfully, this particular buyer was smart enough to see the well, and he asked the broker the question, and it probably saved him, right? It probably saved that buyer from buying a piece of property that could potentially have ended up in a lawsuit, maybe an expensive lawsuit. So ask questions, hire a good real estate broker, hire a good land surveyor. Don't pay for a survey that you don't need. That's not going to fix your problem.